Hi YouTube, it's Claire doing my Horoscope 101 video today. I'm actually up early on a Sunday, so I can go ahead and film this today and go ahead and upload it today. I did not have time yesterday. Um, this week was favorites week, and I will go ahead and tell you that my first instinct to do a video for this was my absolute favorite horror film, and that was Return of the Living Dead. I have seen so many videos for Return of the Living Dead that it's not that I don't think that you want to hear my opinion. It's just that there's already been so many of those, and it's maybe just a little bit predictable. So I went for another favorite. I went for what would be my favorite if I could pick. I have my favorite horror movies, but I wanted to do something very out of the ordinary. I actually went for a black and white film. This was a film that was one of the first kind of old scary movies that I remember seeing. Probably, actually, before I even saw a lot of actual really kind of slashers and stuff or anything, honestly. And that is House on Haunted Hill. Okay, so this is the original. This is with Vincent Price. Now you can't really tell because this is one of these four horror classic kind of packs. It has Don't Look in the Basement, House on Haunted Hill, The Sphinx, and Werewolf in the Girls' Dormitory. House on Haunted Hill was done in 1958. That year always sticks out. That's the year my father was born. 75 minutes long, Vincent Price, and lots of other actors. Now, I won't do a huge synopsis of this film, but I will just kind of say, Vincent Price is one of the main characters. I would name him as the main character, of course. He kind of plays a millionaire that invites strangers to the creepy house. Now, I will go ahead and say that the one reason why I super, super, super loved this film was it is the strangers meet in a house for a weekend or a night kind of tale. And just to kind of touch on those a little bit, people have said that it started with Agatha Christie, a novel that Agatha Christie wrote called 10 Little Indians. Actually, it had a different title even before that, which was considered racist. She was a woman of her time. She would, never would have named it that now, of course, but 10 Little Indians was the second title. There was one before that one that was even worse. Since then, because Indian has now been seen as a derogatory term, it is now called And Then There Were None. And that kind of tells you a little bit about the story of people that have been kind of invited to a creepy house for the weekend, and people just kind of start dropping like flies. Love that tale. I could read that book over and over and over and over again. If you haven't checked out And Then There Were None, please do. It might be called 10 Little Indians if you get kind of an older copy, but And Then There Were None, that kind of started that myth. Then there's the game Clue, which led to the film Clue, which kind of is a really funny spoof on all of those kind of strangers meet in a house by invitation kind of movies. And Clue is one of my absolute favorite comedies. I love the multiple endings. I love that you can kind of decide which one you like best, and it has one of the best quotes of all time at the very end, and that's when the guy that you think has been gay, spoiler alert, the guy that you think has been gay the entire time says, and now I'm going to go home and make love to my wife. Just hilarious. So I love those, any kind of movies that have to do with strangers meet in a house. Now, what's really fascinating about this, and I'm sorry I have to kind of show this cover because it's not really the movie, but whatever. What I found fascinating about this film is that they don't really meet in what looks like a typical haunted house. Frederick Lauren, and that's the character played by Vincent Price. Lauren's home looks like almost like a contemporary architecture home. So when they showed at the beginning of the movie, you're like, this is kind of different. It doesn't look like that creepy old haunted house that you might imagine Vincent Price being. It's a very contemporary style from the 1950s. And you have to check it out to kind of see that. Now, the film starts with a little monologue, by this creepy guy that's in the film. Then you start seeing these hearses driving up to this home, House on Haunted Hill. And they are hearses. And so all of the guests have been invited to this party in hearses, and they're all kind of in the car. And that's how it starts. It's a very small little film in that it's only at this home. The guests get there, and then everything goes from there. You find out that Price's character Frederick Lauren has a very tumultuous relationship with his wife. She is this beautiful, screen siren. She's a blonde and just she's very she's a little bit of a spitfire, gives it back to him, but you can tell that he has a very bad relationship with her. He's actually a little bit abusive. um, so you start wondering, why has he invited all of these people here? I don't want to give too much away about this film. I don't think it has hardly anything to do with the remake House on Haunted Hill. People, I know that Jeffrey Rush kind of was supposed to play the Vincent Price character, but I mean, it was okay, but I saw it, and when you see this original, it's just such a great 50s kind of creepy film. It's kind of it's kind of violent, it's kind of gory for back then. There's the most corny moments ever that you'll see that are just fantastic. There's a film, there's kind of a damsel in it. The guy kind of protects her, and you guys, and I'm sorry that this review is kind of vague, but it's kind of a typical kind of a scary movie film for the 1950s. But as I said, very different in that the haunted house isn't this old creepy English style house. It's this contemporary, very American looking home. And it's definitely a film that you need to check out. You usually can find it in like a pack like this, or I'm sure you could probably get it on Amazon for like $2 or something. It's super cheap, but you need to see House on Haunted Hill. If you love Vincent Price, I mean, this is something you have to pick up. It's definitely my favorite role that he ever played. I know people would say many other things, but I personally loved him in House on Haunted Hill because it was one of the first ones that I did. Even on the back here, it actually says rated 13 for violence. And I think that's just because there's just some. You'll understand what I'm talking about if you see the film. So I wanted to do something kind of older. I didn't want to pick like my favorite. I just wanted to kind of do like, this is one of my favorites, and that's House on Haunted Hill. So I know next week, I think I got told that next week is Hitchcock week. I know exactly which one I'm going to do, so I hope that's entertaining, and that'll be quite fun because I have plenty to say about Hitchcock films. So you guys have a great Sunday, great rest of the week, and I will see you on Horoscope 101 next Sunday.